Hey, it's great to see all of you guys today. I want to talk to you a little bit about parenting. I want to do this with a little fear and trembling. I'm still in the middle of the battle and I have so much to learn. My oldest is 18 and I have a 16-year-old and 11-year-old. And so many times parents talk to me about parenting, or they talk about the fear of like ruining their children, and I try to keep everybody focused on the basics. Let me give you a few basic things that I think are the key to raising kids that'll love Jesus and love you. And first of all, I think we've got to make sure that we give them our time. And I've tried through the years, not perfectly, of course, but I've tried through the years to understand what was important to my kids, what did they enjoy, what was their passion. And when I could, man, I want to do that with them. So with my son, that was sports and basketball, and with my middle daughter, that's been music and traveling some, and with my youngest, it's been volleyball and even hunting. She's my little hunter, and actually started playing golf with me a little bit this year. And so I've just tried to understand, what do they enjoy doing? How do I enter into their world so that they learn being with their dad is fun? I think that's really, really important. Another thing, second principle, is I just think we have to be very authentic. I never want to, with my kids or church for that matter, I never want to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I never want to be faking it. I want to live a very authentic life. I want to have integrity. Really, that's what integrity is, that my public and my private life would match. I want my kids, when they see me at home or see me at church, if they see me publicly or they see me privately, to experience the same person, because I think that gives you tremendous credibility, and then I want to teach them out of that experience. And if I'm faking, if I'm managing my image, if I'm putting up a front, then not only do I destroy my credibility, but then I don't really have a platform to lead them out of. So I think that's important, just trying to be authentic with your kids, which obviously, third, means I want them to understand in a very practical way what it looks like to walk with Jesus. So the number one thing is I want to model that for them. So I want them to see the way I love their mother, the way I treat them. I think that's so important. I want them to see me in the Word in the mornings. If I'm still there before they leave for school when they get up, for them to see me reading my Bible, to see me praying. I want them to see me leading the way at church, worshiping, praying, just fully engaged. I want to model that for them in that way, and then I want to be able to teach them in all these little teachable moments in life. I mean, literally, that happen every single week. I want to be able to talk to them about how my faith affects this behavior, this decision, or this relationship. And I want to talk to them very openly about what the Bible says, and living by faith and trusting the Lord. And even when it's hard in the moment, we're doing it this way because the Bible says, and we believe if we do it that way and we trust the Bible that God's going to bless us, that we're going to experience His best. We're going to be able to sleep at night knowing, man, I've done the right thing. So I want to talk to them that way, very, very practically, and just make faith real, not just theoretical, philosophical, but make it very practical and real, and help them to understand, I guess, what that would look like in their life. And then I think the final thing that comes to mind for me is that also includes when I mess up. And I think this gives such credibility. When I mess up, I need to be able to come to them and say, you know what? I'm sorry I lost my temper. I'm sorry I got that upset. Or I'm sorry I forgot to do that for you, or whatever the thing is. Just like your kids, occasionally you're gonna do the wrong thing. You're gonna say the wrong thing. You're gonna forget something. You're gonna overlook something. And in those moments, if we can just be honest about our own shortcomings, then what you do is you create an environment of grace, and you teach them that it's okay to be honest about their failures and their mess ups, and to talk about it, and there's grace for that, and that our relationship is more important than anything else. And I just think that gives you tremendous credibility. Your kids don't expect you to be perfect, and your imperfection does not bother them because they know you're not perfect. What does bother them is when they see your imperfection and you're denying it or ignoring it. And I think that's very detrimental to their relationship with Jesus and to their relationship with you. Now, I say all of that to say, I think the big goal of parenting really is to have the heart of your child. Man, as you're pursuing Jesus and God's doing this work in you, you're trying to model with your children what you receive from God. So all of those things I just talked about, God has done those things for me, right? He wants to spend time with me. He's modeled. Jesus came to model all of this for me. It's very, very authentic and practical, not high-minded and theoretical and philosophical. When you look at the life of Jesus, it was very, very practical. And I think Jesus was very honest, even about his struggles. And he never sinned. He never had to confess sin. But he was very honest about, man, being tired and hungry and just the struggles of life. He was very open and honest about that. And I just think that gave him tremendous credibility. All of that allowed him to really gain our respect and to have our heart. Man, we want to follow somebody like that. And at the end of the day, I want to live in such a way that my kids want to grow up to be like me. And the truth is, your kids want to grow up to be like you. I mean, generally speaking, that's true. So if I'll model what I'm hoping to see produced in their life, then in time, that seed comes up. Let me close with this one little thought. I had a stepfather for a season, and he and I didn't get along. We were constantly butting heads, and he had some values that were not a value for me as a young person, and he was always fussing about that and griping about it. But today, it's been 30 years since then. Today, 30 years later, the things he was griping about have become very important to me today. Now, the reason I tell you that is we didn't even have a good relationship. And he was whining and griping and yelling about that stuff a lot. And even so, 30 years later, I can see the seeds he planted are bearing fruit today in my life. And the reason I say that is sometimes parents, they think parenting is an event, it's a moment. It's like, man, if we don't get everything just right today, we're going to ruin our children. No, parenting is a lifelong walk. Just like your relationship with Jesus is a lifelong walk. And if you'll continue to sow good seed into the heart of your children, in time, you're going to see that seed come up and bear great fruit. But it takes time. When I get to talking to parents, I say it takes about 35 years to raise your children. Don't be impatient. Don't think that if I don't do everything perfect that, I'm going to blow them up. Keep doing your best to walk with God. Allow Him to produce life and change in you that you can model and share with your children. And in time, that seed is going to come up. It's going to bear fruit. I think you're probably doing a much better job at parenting than you realize. So, hey, keep up the good work. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.